Now, let us answer the questions based on the fiction. Question 4 A part. With reference to Hooper, the author says everything was going for him. What does it imply? Option 1. He had everything that a man aspires for. Option B. People admired him. Option C. He did what he wanted. Option D. He was capable of playing games. C. He was a favored man. He was a well-built with a 6-foot height, with a job, with wife, with all the facilities a man needs. So the answer would be, he had everything that a man aspires for. Next question is, Duke never jumped on Chuck again because A. Duke was paralyzed and unable to jump. No, we haven't discussed like that. B. Chuck was angry with Duke for jumping at him. No, Duke realized that Chuck was not well and could not balance himself. Yes, when he jumped on him, he saw that Chuck could barely manage to maintain his balance. Marcy did not allow Duke to come near Chuck. So the answer would be option 3. Duck realized that Chuck was not well and could not balance himself. Moving on to the next question. The author says that Duke knew his job. The job was option A. to look after Chuck. Option B. to get Chuck on his feet. Option C. to humor Chuck. Option 4. to guard the house. See, all the options are somewhat right, but the more appropriate would be to get Chuck on his feet because his left part of the body was paralyzed. So the first priority was to get Chuck on his feet. So the answer would be option B. Moving on to the next question. Even Duke's presence did not reach Chuck. Why? Option A. Duke was locked in his kennel and Chuck could not see him. Duke hid himself behind the bedpost. Duke had come to know that Hooper was not well, or Hooper was lost in his own grief and pain. The answer would be Hooper was lost in his own grief and pain because since he was not well, he was all alone in the house with his thoughts, so he was in his grief and pain. Next question is, in 1953, Hooper was a favored young man. Explain. See, we have already discussed in the question number 1 that he was a favored man. Why? Because he was a 6-foot man, he was a part of the football team also, and he worked as a sales manager for a chemical company also. So he was a favored young man. Next question is, they said that they would create a desk job for Hooper at headquarters. Question is, who are they? Of course, they are the senior officials of his company. Question second is, why did they decide to do this? We have learned in the fiction that when he met with an accident and due to the subdural hemorrhage, his left part was paralyzed. So he was unable to walk now, and a sales manager cannot work without walking. So they decided to create a desk job for Chuck so that he can work easily and comfortably. Next question is, Duke was an extraordinary dog. What special qualities did he exhibit to justify this? Discuss. Yes, of course he was an extraordinary dog because at first when he jumped on the Chuck, he could realize that Chuck was not able to balance his body. That time his suspicion, his identification of the problem is a proof that he was an extraordinary. Not only this, the work which Marcy and doctors could not do to a perfect level, there Duke contribute a lot. He helped him walk. How? He pulled his leash, stand and wait for Chuck to move. So finally, after a period of time, Chuck was able to move. So these are the all qualities which proves that Duke was an extraordinary dog. Next, moving to the next question. What problems did Chuck present when he returned to the company headquarters? When Chuck returned to the company, everyone was amazed to see him. He was not fit to work the whole day. He could work only an hour per day. So it was. Nobody has the heart to tell him that he would not be able to hold his old job. Yet it was impossible to work as a salesman because he could not move. Therefore, this was the problems which Chuck had faced. Next question is, why do you think Charles Hooper's appointment as Assistant National Sales Manager is considered to be a tribute to Duke? It is being considered as a tribute to Duke because it was the Duke who showed him the path. When he had lost all the hopes in his life, Duke was the one to help him walk, to help him revive his earlier life. So the tribute to the dog, so it was a tribute to the dog only. Next question is, following dates were important in Charles Hooper's life in some way. Complete the table by relating the description with the correct. What we have to do in this question is that we are provided with the description. We have to find the dates from this. First is, news spread that Hooper and Duke had made it to an intersection. This basically refers to the training period when Hooper and Duke tried to walk. So the date was June 1st. Hooper walked independently from clinic to the branch office. As I have already told you in the chapter that on January 4, he went to the office without the help of the Duke. So the date was January 4. Hooper planned to start a full day's work at office. He started his work within a few months of the day he joined the office. So that would be March, after January, after the gap of 1 month. Duke met with a fatal accident. In October 12, he met with an accident and where he died.